All right, Tarrah, it's all you.
Okay. Well, like Amanda said, I'm Tarrah Meyering, and I've been a Shackley member for 3.5 years. I've also been in the business probably, I think I became a director 4 months after I started. So I, like I said, Amanda said earlier, I did it kind of the hard way on second chance. But I definitely recommend that you do it the first way, go right after it right away and create some momentum in your business. And this was my first paid Shackley trip. And you kind of think about that, but I don't know. I've never been on a trip where I don't have to plan anything. I didn't have to worry about even having cash or anything. I mean, it just wasn't necessary. It was really amazing. They took care of everything. So that was really cool. So like I said, how I did it was second chance. And I kind of want to show you guys something. I have this like green book here. And it says beautiful mess on it because pretty much that's what you do when you're ADD. But I had I don't know if you can see this, but I had my NDC trip and I had my volume up here and I took track of every single PV for every month, and I was breaking it down. I started with the first month that I wanted to qualify. It seemed so far away because I had to get 48,000 in the 12-month period, and that meant at least 4,000 a month. And I started at 2450. That was my first month. And the next month after that, I won't bore you with all these details, but the next month after that was 21. So I was just over director at that point. So, I could have been disappointed. I could have just said, you know what, I'm probably not going to make it anyway. It's so far away. But every month I kept track and I kept just writing it down. So, and that just is like the power of looking at a goal, writing it down and accomplishing it. I really feel that was just, it kept me on track. So I definitely recommend that. So the trip itself, we got picked up at the airport by a limo, and we were taken with another couple and their baby to, I think he was like 3 months old. Their name was Julie and Liam and baby Leo. And we went about an hour to Pleasanton. So we flew into San Francisco. It was great. We arrived, we just checked in. They said, here's your room keys. And we get into our room. And Shackley's really great about gifts. I wasn't expecting that. I feel like, this was the gift, the trip. Like, I'm super excited, about that. And they turned it around and were like, no, you're the gift. We are happy to do this for you. You are the gift to us. And that was definitely something that I just picked up on from Roger, who said it, from just the home office staff, that was very clear about that was the case. So we had this little welcome reception, and because time change and it's 3 hours different. So by like 8:30, we're looking at our watches going, oh shoot, I'm kind of tired. But we were able to meet some people right away that we connected with really, really quick, about 4 other couples, which was really cool. One of them was the people who we were with in the car, all from different organizations, all earned it different ways. It was interesting. I was a second chance. Someone else had earned it a year prior but couldn't go and was able to get it deferred to this year. Another couple is from Japan, and they were military, so they live in Okinawa, but they were able to fly in for this specific one and have another week with their parents here in the States. So it was just kind of the right exact time for leave. And another couple had just earned it. They just found out they had earned it like 2 months ago. They didn't even realize it. So really cool to meet the people. That was really like the best part. This was a great group. We had a really great group. It was only 50 couples, I think, maybe at maximum, I'm sure of it. There was only that many. So it was an intimate setting, and we all were able to, had downtime enough to talk and get to know one another. So let's see, our main speaker the first day after the welcome reception, so on what's the Wednesday? It'd be Thursday, was Brian Biro, who was our conference speaker in Atlanta 2 years. No, was he Atlanta or Orlando? I don't know, but he was a conference speaker that I think it was Orlando, because that was the first one. I can't say for sure, but I know Amanda and I were both there, and we did an activity that he did again with us there, which I thought, okay, well, I've done this before. I've kind of heard this guy before, you know, but my husband hadn't, so that was great. Of course, I told him about it, and I brought something home with me that was something that we did. What he does is talks about breakthroughs, and he has a book along those lines. And what we did is we broke boards. We broke this board right here. It's fairly thick, right? It's not like flimsy, right? And what he had us do an exercise after he spoke was all about breaking through in your business. And as you can imagine, the analogy to that is very relevant. Last time I did this in Atlanta, I had different goals. So doing it again 2 years later, because when I was just a baby and Shackley, you know, like learning everything, and you know, I had definitely had different goals. Now I have higher goals and expectations of myself, knowing all those things that I do now. And so we wrote different things on one side. He had us draw an X, and we named something that we were either a habit that we wanted to break, or a business goal that we were wanting to get through, or a fear. And then on the other side, we had what would it look like if that were the case. And so we were able to write a lot of things down, what we would have, and then also people's initials that would benefit from this, like people in our family or other things. So my husband did the same thing, and I don't know if anybody wants to take a guess on how many times that it took for us to break our boards, or if everybody in the whole group broke them or not, because that was interesting to me, I thought. So the whole group was able to take part in this, and there were people who weren't like, you know, our age. There was some people who were 65, 70. I think there was a 73-year-old couple there. But since everybody is on mute, I'll just tell you, everybody broke their board. It wasn't always on the first try, though. People weren't lined up right, or they were looking at the board and not at the person who was holding his eyes. That was the whole thing, was that if you're looking at your obstacle and that X on the board, you're going to stop, or you're going to pull up, and you're not going to break it. Even people who are very strong, you know, men were not going to break it if they were looking at it. You can't look at your obstacle. You have to look past it. You have to go through it, and you have to believe that you can. Otherwise, you will not break through it. And we did see that to be the case. But yay, I broke it on the first shot. And I think I did in Atlanta too. I may have taken two. I don't remember if I took two in Atlanta or not. But this time was definitely one shot. So I was pretty excited. And then, you know, that little bit of fear just crossed my eyes. Like, oh, I know what's coming. So I know I'm going to break a board. Am I going to be able to do it again? Right? But then I said, nope, I'm going to. It's just, yeah, I'm going to do it. So we have to kind of approach our businesses like that in that same manner, as we're just going to do it. We're going to look forward. We're going to keep going. We're going to be positive, and we're going to break through. So he's full of energy. If you ever see any kind, he's very authentic. He's like that normally, and he wasn't always like that, but he has come to have this just positiveness about him that was awesome. So he had a lot of great things to say, but one of the things that he challenged us to do was be fully present. To be fully present when you're speaking with people, to be mindful of the gift of a good listener, and if there's people who are what was the other thing he said was, you know, it's going to feel weird if you're not used to listening that much. If you're used to saying, oh, okay, you know, oh, I know somebody who, or, you know, share your own story all the time, you're going to want to just go ahead and like pause and make sure that you are listening to them, and it'll feel weird, but it'll be okay. He had us an acronym, ESPN. He had us think about effort and energy. S is the surprise. P was presence, and N is now. So that was a nice little way to, think about it. And that just the number one gift is to be fully present. Next, we had Roger Barnett come in, and he was in and out too. At this point, we had met him, when we came in at the reception, but he came in and he spoke, and he's a very good speaker. He's so like natural, and you would never know he's so, other than he talks appropriately, he's so smart and just so, I don't know, affluent. And he comes across though as like your next door neighbor or your buddy. So it's really cool how he speaks. It'd be awesome if everybody goes to conference or on this trip, you'll be able to understand that. But he just told us about his first business, which was when he was 4 years old. He was in a partnership with his 7-year-old brother, and they did shoe shining in New York City. And he told us all about how the operation ran or whatever, and I partners. And he realized even at 4 that once they start getting customers, and they had a bedtime at 7 p.m. So their bedtime 7 p.m. and they couldn't do anything past 7 p.m. So there was one businessman who was not very happy one morning, called to their father up early and said, okay, it's 7 a.m. Where are my shoes? Because that's when they said they'd have them out by their door. And he said, well, they're, apologize and, kind of thing. He didn't have shoes to wear to work that day, but that Roger realized that, there's a cap, there's a ceiling. It's not very scalable. There was nothing that he could do. He could only do so many shoes before his bedtime, kind of thing. So he just realized that he wanted something different. So he put a lot of money into trying to find Shackley and understanding business at Harvard Law, and where else did he go? Another very major, Yale Law and Harvard Business School. Yeah. But, he always wants us to understand the value of Shackley and the value of our business and to plan for success. So that was something I came away with. It was really great. And that, we get paid from the efforts of others. So we can leverage things. We don't have to always be dependent on ourselves. And it kind of multiplies the time that we have by a greater quantity when people work with us and we work together in a way. So that was really cool. We had Kevin Crandall, who is head of sales. I think he's the head of sales in Shackley. But he was great. He talked a bit. Devin Klein and Morgan Klein, who are the fastest to master coordinator. They're 30 years old. All right. And this guy came from an abusive home in Battle Creek. And he told us a little bit about his story and about he's always had to be the one to figure it out. And he just figured out what to do and how to get there, and how they started burn boot camps all across now. This biggest franchise, the biggest growing franchise in the U.S. Out of parking lots, because they just didn't have, they had $600 and they went to Dick's and they bought workout equipment and started doing workouts in parking lots for moms and near playgrounds and things like that. And it just exploded in 5 years. I don't even think it's been 5 years, that all around the nation. And also they took their whole Shackley business with it. So that was cool. We had the next night we went to the winery. The scenery is great. I've never been to California, so I was super impressed with all of that. And they rented out this awesome facility, and we were able to have pictures with Roger and Heather. But I thought the coolest thing was that Roger sat down at our table and he listened. He listened to everything each of us said. He went around and asked each of us what we were doing in our business to be successful, and then how could Shackley come alongside and make it even better? Or was there something that needed to be clearer, or we could do better? And he listened. He had Raquel, as you may have seen Raquel at our thing, take notes and write everything down. And I had coffee with her the morning that we left, I had a little meeting with her, and she said, yeah, Roger and I had a big discussion, you know, after everybody got done and, you know, all this stuff. So they do listen, they do care, they do take things that we in the field say and try to figure them out and apply them. So we think, you know, that was really cool. Gosh, who else spoke? Oh, we had Laura Evans, Master Coordinator Laura Evans. She used to work at corporate home office, and she told us about her story. She's about vision and how she wanted to be Master Coordinator, and she just kept calling herself Master Coordinator even though she wasn't, and how she eventually got there. Yep, Laura Evans. And we had a little social media information, which was great, just to kind of figure that out a little bit better. Just this is Shackley is a gift. It really is. You really feel it from the people, even in just the corporate side of it, and how helpful. Of course, we went to the Innovation Center too, where the science was. That took about an hour and a half because they had, I think, 10 of their scientists. Like, it was such a skinny hallway. I don't know, Amanda, if you've been there, but this is a skinny hallway. It's like not a very big building, and they had us in groups of probably 10 or 12. And listening to one of the scientists like stand outside, you know, you could see in like to what they're doing with this in the hallway. And so we were like close to each other, but they were talking to us and trying to explain to us what they were doing in that specific section and part. But it was great. And then they were open to questions afterwards and things like that. So it was great. Then we had a picture with Dr. Shackley's bronze. Took a selfie with Dr. Shackley's bronze. Gosh, what else was there? I feel like I'm missing stuff, but you know, it was just awesome that Heather spoke. Yeah, I just think that this is the company that you want to be with. I knew it before, but this is, you know, not even a question about the integrity that you come back with, and it's not fluff. This is how they run. This is how they train their employees and the staff, and down to the front desk person. It's all the same mindset, and I feel like that's just the best. Take time to celebrate, which was kind of the point of this trip, and celebrate the wins. And these are, you know, they say, you know, why are we bringing you here? And, you know, someone got up and spoke and said, you know what, when I heard that Shackley gives you a trip for just being a director, you know, just being a director, but, you know, they value directors so incredibly. They're the future. And they kept saying that to you, you're the future. You are the elite ones. You're the 2018 alumni, you know, NDC people that, you know, are going to lead this company, and we want to invest in. Why wouldn't we invest in that? You know, so, you know, it's just a different for me to look at that perspective too, that, you know, I was just working for this. I didn't think about the flip side of how they really want to partner. So yeah, that was all great. We talked a little bit, last thing I'll say is a little bit about failure, because that's always a fear. And how that failure, you know, what I write here, failure is just the best plan for success. And just plan to fail, because we're all going to, and you just have to plan to fail, because it's not going to catch you by surprise then, and you're going to expect it. So if you can expect it, it's not going to hit you upside the head, it's not going to blindside you, you expect it, and you kind of just move past it. So I think that was great. So I had a great time, and I'm looking forward to creating a life of impact with Shackley. So
How did Ben like it?
Oh yeah, this is what he said. Oh, we got interviewed too. Oh my gosh. Oh, we are going to probably be on Shackley TV, and I'm like, oh. Okay. So he said he was really blown away because he's in the manufacturing aspect. He's at the grocery store right now. Otherwise, I was going to have him come out. He's like, oh, I got to get groceries. But he said that there is no company he knows anybody works at, any of his friends or anybody like that, the CEO comes down and looks and talks to you in any regard, he's like, I don't even know who my CEO is. Like, the corporation, he's got no idea. He's like, they don't care or know about us at all. He's like, you feel that here. And he said that on the video, so I don't know if that'll make the cut, but like, he was very blown away by the authenticity and the care that Shackley does really, you know, exude. So very, very impressed. Very impressed.
Good. Anybody have any questions for Tarrah, guys?
Oh, do you want to see? We got some gifts, like I was seeing. We got stacks of the youth kits or the youth brochures, and then they gave us these the youth serum. They gave us some, like, I kept this in the bow, so it was all nice and but some notepads and like stickers and like magnets and stuff to keep you on track. And then we got in our rooms, we got bags, and then we got these. We had Recover and some snacks in it. We got another like satchel bag like we got at conference with stuff in it. We also got these light boxes that were really cool too. And not just I got it, Ben got one too. So every, you know, which was, I think, cool that they didn't leave the spouses or your +1 out at all. It was, you are just as much part of this business as a support role if you're not, like, you know, doing the business, as just as much help as the person doing it. So they didn't poo-poo that at all. So yeah. Do you guys have any questions? It was 80.
Jealous.
So nice.
Oh, all right, I'm going to stop recording here, Tarrah.
Okay.